Okay,
Light.
guys, we're ready to go.
Right twisted. Second maybe. Wanna swap this around. Get this HMI.
Seven, yeah.
Oh crap, sorry, my head just a little. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for the third night of the TTASA GT Sports online tournament or Cup Racing tournament that we have going on today. It's me, Warren Ramga, and to my left we have Ray Smith for another enjoyable night of qualifying. And in the technical box we have Mark Pogson. Ray.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to the TTASA Digital Cup 2020, the GT Cup 2020 edition, and we are very happy to have you this evening. We do have, we want to go straight into a short video of the track that will be used this evening for qualifying. So if we could just go straight to that, we'll share that with you now.
Welcome tonight. My name is Mark Pogson, and I'll be giving you a quick guide of the Brands Hatch GP circuit in the Mazda Miata. Okay, going into Paddocks Hill Bend, we're gonna slow a bit, turn in pretty early, downshift the gear, come down the hill, then we're gonna come up and brake just under the underpass, downshift 2 gears, turn in very early, come out wide. We're just gonna lift here, ended up coming a bit wide. Brake just before the one board. Brake trail a bit. Try to get that exit speed as much as possible. Just gonna lift here. Just downshift a bit and turn it very early. Again, we're gonna just lift and turn in. Downshift 1 gear, turn in very early. Try to get that early apex so we can get the exit speed. Downshift and turn in again. Going to throttle very early. Get into the straightaway and try to get the fastest time as possible to the start finish line. Hey guys, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mark, for allowing us the opportunity to see the track and its turns for the purpose of getting everyone familiar with the track that we will be using this evening. That's Brands Hatch track, and at the moment the practice sessions are in progress, so the drivers all have the opportunity to practice that track to try their best to get the best qualifying time for this evening's session. 2 sessions on this evening, one on right now, and then there's another session that will be on at 8 p.m. The official qualifying begins at 7:15, and of course, we always want to thank the sponsors who are making this possible. Our lead sponsor is Motul Lubricants. We also want to thank Trap Speed Simulators, Trini Tuner, and of course, Garage Fresh, and our latest sponsor, Renter Studio. We also want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the Race at Home initiative that is being promoted by FIA. The FIA, in conjunction with the ASNs around Trinidad, around the world, making an effort to encourage sim racing as an alternative to live racing activity while we're dealing with the conditions of this pandemic. So as a result, the Race at Home initiative is taking place right now. We are at home ourselves. Each of us who are involved in this particular activity are all at home, including the racers, including the competitors. We also have a number of stewards as well as officials who are all at their own homes as well. So in case you were wondering whether or not Luke and I are in the same room, we are actually not. We are at our homes doing this broadcast for you, bringing it to you live, and creating for you the real life experience of sim racing as this championship continues. Luke is very excited to share some new information with you, so we'll turn it over to Luke right now.
Okay, I guess I am excited to share some information that I was not informed about, Ray. But yeah, as Ray said before, we're all working from home. So even though we look like we're in a studio next to each other, thanks to some magical trickery of technology, Ray is like, he's quite in Chaguanas right now, and I'm in St. Augustine. So again, we're all taking our parts and doing our parts and keeping that social distancing up, as well as each and every driver, meaning that they now have 9 more minutes to practice, and we have 9 qualifiers tonight. And this will be the second to last group as we jump into an hour from now, the last qualifying session. So these drivers basically have to set a time in the sub 1.3 second category to qualify and be safe in this race. So currently we have about 29 drivers who have already qualified, and we just have 20 more to go. We have a lot coming up tonight. As this practice session finished, we'll jump back on the track and follow along with some drivers who will tell you more about certain drivers that are in this qualifying session. One to look out for this qualifying session is Daniel Prasad. He's, no, scratch that, that's not Daniel Prasad. That's Adrian Prasad. I'm not sure if they're family, but Adrian is very well known. He's Adriano 7910, and he's one to look out for. He should be pretty quick in this group.
Thank you, Luke. We also have Alan Forbes. Alan Forbes is our next entrant in today's first heat number 5. And Alan Forbes goes by the name AJ Forbes 26. Alan is the son of Aaron Forbes, and Aaron and Glenn are the 2 guys behind Motul. So we want to thank them very much, and we congratulate Alan on getting involved in the championship of himself. We also have next in the lineup Anthony Vidal. Anthony Vidal, known as Kid Inc. Anthony Vidal is one of the entrants in this evening's competition. David Jacobs, Lord Thanos, not Thanos, Lord Thanos.
It's Tantos. It's Lord Tantos, Ray.
It's Tantos. Alrighty then. So it's Lord Tantos. And then of course we have Gerald Kashi, who is Blacks 86. BLCKS 868.
We call it Blacks. Yeah.
Yeah, we could say Blacks, you think?
I think it should be safe.
Yeah.
Not safe. We're fully the Blacks.
All right, you want to give us the next 4 competitors through this evening?
The next 4 competitors will be Keston Henry, who is pest control. He come out to kill all the cockroach, all the centipede, taking any chances. He's basically bred to kill. So from him, we have Ravin Duki, who's Raptor 9446. Following that will be Matthew Sylvan Singh. A very long name. I'm just going to call him Matthew from now on, and he'll be Lord Sylvan _ And John Michael Rajvali, Schoolboy Prime. So again, a great list of names there. So it'll be pretty fun to announce this next qualifying session.
Yeah, I wish to add though that Matthew Sylvan Singh is the son of Ravi Singh, the grandson.
Really?
Correct. He's the grandson of
the
Sylvan
Ravi
Singh.
Singh?
Correct. He's the grandson of Sylvan Singh. So he's also the brother of Bridget Singh, which makes him the one of the Singh dynasty involved in motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago, entering into this sim racing championship series. He is also a champion karter at the moment, taking part in the karting series being put on by the Trinidad and Tobago Karting Association. He just had a fastest time coming in from Forbes, young Forbes. AJ Forbes is currently fastest in practice with a 1:35.593. So he's up in the 135s already. That's going to be very, very interesting as it relates to what is happening. The top performers are coming in with 135s generally, with just one performer who would have come in with a 134.8. So that's the time to beat this evening, a 134.8. AJ just making up more time and more ground with a 135.219. So that is very, very interesting to see what young Alan Forbes is going to put up when it comes to the actual qualifying activity.
He has just put himself into the second spot in the qualifying list race. So he is right behind Brandon, just around 4/10 of Brandon's time. But he just bumped Andrew Marsong, to say so, down a place, putting him as right now the number 1 position in the Group B for next week's races on Monday.
Correct. And just to remind you of what is happening with regard to those races coming up on Monday evening at 7 p.m. On Monday evening at 7 p.m., we will begin our racing activity. We will have 2 races for you and 4 groups that will be spread out over the next 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. In the first set of races, we will have a Group A and then a Group B. Then Tuesday, we will have Group C and Group D. And each of the positions, the pole position for each group is going to be the first top 4 finishers in the qualifiers. So Group 1 will be the top qualifier, Group 2 or B will be the second qualifier, Group C the third qualifier, and then Group D the 4th qualifier. They will all hold P1 positions in the races of Monday and Tuesday evening. In second position in P2, we will have the 5th, 6th, and 7th and 8th place qualifiers, and of course, and it will continue in setting up of the grids for the 4 races that are to come from Monday evening. So look forward to that. Lots of exciting action. And as we get into the activity this evening, just about 11 minutes into the practice session, we want to say a special good evening to Ms. Delicia Blizzard. Ms. Blizzard is, of course, the Ministry of Sports representative in Trinidad and Tobago with the responsibility for motorsport, and we want to thank her for her continued interest in making sure that motorsport continues to develop here in Trinidad and Tobago under the guidance of TTASA. We also now want to advise you that Raptor is now coming in with a time of 136.362. Luke, just remind us who Raptor is.
Raptor is
Ravin Duki.
Ravin Duki.
Yeah, that's Ravin Duki. And Matthew Singh just came in with a time of a 136.469. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is practice. This is practice sessions. We're seeing somebody going in for a change of tires.
Fresh set of tires.
Yeah, maybe we can share with them the information that relates to tires and fuel loop.
Okay, well, the drivers will be on soft tires for both the practice as well as the qualifying session. So tires do wear out over a couple laps. So it's key for them to take a fresh set every 3 laps to get a good, consistent feel for the car during the qualifying session. But again, being as we just said, this is just qualifying. These times mean nothing when it comes to the next 50 minutes in the qualifying session. The driver may put a 135.2 out now, but if they'll be able to recreate that same lap during the qualifying session is the big question.
Absolutely. As we continue to take in the practice session, we do want to remind you that there is a lot of development taking place up at Wallafield at the moment. So we want to thank the management of TTASA, working assiduously in terms of developing the motorsport facility here in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, we want to thank the technical team that has been involved in putting together this particular event. The guys who have been working very, very assiduously behind the scenes, Devi Nath, the competition chairman of TTASA, Dwayne Guru Singh, the principal at TriniTuner.com, Mark Pogson, the principal at Trap Speed Simulators, and of course, we have other gentlemen who are involved. Gerard Wilson, who you may remember as a famous photographer in Trinidad and Tobago, is now in Texas, assisting us as one of the stewards of today's event. So we want to thank Gerard as well as being part of the technical committee and assisting all of us here in terms of putting on this event. I'm really happy to be involved in this event, and we look forward to a fantastic event in the next days. One more minute of practice time, and we will be advised by the officials when official qualifying begins this evening.
Again, for those of you who are now joining us, this is simply the qualifying session. As of next week, Monday at 7 p.m., races will be set to start. Over the weekend, we should release the race groupings, but hopefully by later tonight or tomorrow, we shall confirm the race listings to see who will be in what group and who we have facing off in the first rounds of the quarterfinals. So a lot of good racing ahead of us, a lot to be decided, a lot to be announced, as the drivers are still not sure what track they'll be at, what car they'll be allowed to race, and a lot of decisions to be made over this weekend.
We are being advised right now by the technical team, the race director is advising that qualifying starts now. Qualifying starts right now. It is 7:15 and we're moving on time for this qualifying session this evening. Qualifying begins right now. I'm being advised that Silvan Singh, young Matthew Silvan Singh, is driving in the dynasty color of yellow. The dynasty color is yellow, so his Miata is yellow. And just to share with you, the choice of the platform that they're using this evening, the platform of itself is the Mazda Miata. And if we can have Mark Pogson share some technical information with regard to the track as well as the platform. Mark?
Hi, good night everybody. My name is Mark Pogson. Yes, this is the Brands Hatch circuit, which is quite a well-known track. Most people will be well familiar with this track. There are a couple corners that can be quite tricky in this track. It's not a very long circuit, but it's a very technical circuit. There are only maybe about 3 rail overtaking points when we get to a part where somebody needs to pass. So we would always expect people to be courteous and give proper race etiquette. And if somebody's on a fast lap and you're not on your fastest lap, and it's best to just give way and let them pass, because you're just going to make them suffer. And who knows, you could maybe just tag in on their draft and end up at a fast lap in spite of whatever error you just made. Other than that, the Mazda Miata car, which is the race roadster car in GT Sport, is actually quite a very stable, very easily drivable car. It does not really suffer any noticeable body roll, so it drives like a full-fledged race car. The only thing is it just lacks the power and top speed, so pretty much you have to rev that engine until it reaches nearly right on your rev limiter before you want to shift any gear. And that's pretty much how you're going to get the most out of this Mazda Miata car. Other than that, it's most of what you're going to get through this track is a lot of lifting and coasting through a corner rather than braking, because it actually has a lot more traction than you might think. So yeah, I personally believe that the Mazda is a decent match for this circuit. And once nailed properly, it flows pretty well. Luke?
Thank you, Mark, with that great insight as always. Okay, so as we hop back on track for the qualifying session, we still have 12 minutes and 16 seconds to go. Currently, AJ Forbes was the fastest in practice, is currently the fastest in qualifying as well. Right now, the slower drivers, if I was them, would be hooking onto the back of AJ Forbes as fast as they can so they can get swept into a fast time. So as you say, yeah, right now is the best time to be a bandwagonist. There's no judgment in that. You hop on that train and you hope for the best. As you see, some drivers are taking it to the dirt because they're not sure exactly what the white lines mean, because clearly they spend way too much time on the highway driving in between and then off the white lines. So again, there are white lines on both sides. The field again, we have kidding there in the dirt. As we see, not sure what the white lines mean. But again, he's the 3rd fastest in qualifying right now, followed closely by Lord Silver himself, representing that Sing camp out of Sugarlands. Right?
Thank you, Luke. The event is being broadcast live. So those of you who are on the live feed on YouTube, we thank you very much for joining us, and we also encourage you to continue to like and share the YouTube feed. And for those of you who are not entirely certain, it's TTASA eSports. TTASA eSports is the name of the channel and that's the channel on which you will find all of the action of this particular championship series. So please continue to like and share and encourage others to get involved and pay attention to what is happening with sim racing here in Trinidad and Tobago and by extension around the world, where sim racing has been developing over the years and now has a sanction from FIA for the purpose of taking up the slack as it relates to what's happening at the moment. Motorsport should return worldwide in the month of June, July is what is being touted. We have no real clear idea just yet with when it's going to begin or restart in Trinidad and Tobago, but we will be guided by the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and TTASA has been in connection or communication with the Ministry of Sport to ensure that we can have a smooth restart to motorsport. But this platform of the eSport platform is one that we will continue to promote, as it does create not only a platform for us to use in the absence of real motorsport, but it gives us the opportunity to focus on the skill set of several sim racers who would not have been part of the motorsport fraternity prior to this championship series. And that now means that these gentlemen, these drivers, can also now look at whether or not they want to get involved in motorsport at the Frankie Boudram Wallafield International Raceway, the home of motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago. AJ Forbes just coming up now with a 135.399, a 135.399, and just as Luke was pointing out, he is the fastest at the moment on the track, fastest in qualifying and right up there with the rest who have qualified. And speaking about the rest that have qualified so far,
he's actually on a flyer right now, Ray. He's actually on a flyer right now. He's doing a tenth faster than this last lap. Pushing it down. He took off 3/10 of the last time from this last lap, so it's going to be a very fast lap. He may even come in contention with Brandon Steele for the first pole position qualifier for this lap, if he can hold together.
Yeah, and speaking about Brandon Steele, we do have coming up for you in the break between this qualifying session and the next, an interview being done with Brandon Steele, so stay tuned for that.
He picked up a penalty, Ray.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Mark, could you explain to us what happened there? What was that 0.5 second penalty for?
He just basically got too greedy, and he was trying to push the track limits way too far, and ended up cutting too much on the inside of the curb, and it was basically
134.816.
Yeah, it would have been amazing.
What is the penalty that he would get?
He got a 0.5 of a penalty, but what happens is any penalty that is given on the qualifying, your lap is automatically disqualified.
Okay.
So that particular lap is null and void. So he has to try again. But I mean, that was an amazing time he was putting down there, and I also believe that he actually slowed a bit after getting that penalty. So I think
he paid his penalty. He paid it actually.
I think there was a little bit more in it. I mean, I keep asking this question: Will we be able to see a 133? That's what I keep my fingers crossed to see.
Just for the edification of the viewer, is it possible to be able to get a 133 in this Mazda Miata platform on this track?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it might. I think it might. Certainly not for me. That's way out of my skill level, but I've seen the 134s, and I've definitely seen the mid 134s. 133, maybe, who knows? Somebody might know something. I don't know.
I shall look to Google.
Thank you very much, Mark. We do have a fastest time for Raptor, who is now in second in a 136.132, and Kid Inc. is now in a 136.382. That is 382. Just about 7 more minutes in this qualifying session. So we want to, of course, remind you that we will be having another qualifying session at 8 p.m. But we encourage you to stay tuned to the live feed. During the break between this qualifying session and the next, we will have an interview that was done with the fastest qualifier so far, Brandon Steele. So stay tuned for that. Lots of information to share. Mark Pogson conducts that interview with him, and he has quite a bit of information to share for the viewing audience. So please stay tuned for that live interview, a pre-recorded interview with the fastest qualifier so far, Brandon Steele. Brandon Steele, by the way, is a product of Venus Miller Racing. For those of you who don't know, Brandon
Legends
Steele.
making legends, basically.
Yes, that's basically what
on.
that is. So he's a product of the Venus Miller Racing, and Venus Miller is a product of Tom Miller Racing. For some of you who know about circuit racing in days gone by, Tom Miller was a very famous racer in Trinidad and Tobago. So that's something to pay attention to, as well as Brandon continues to carry on the racing heritage in his family. So back to the action at the moment. 5 more minutes to end this qualifying session. 5 more minutes to end this qualifying session. Any highlights from your perspective, Luke?
We just saw Adrian, the big facade, put down a 136.871. As you know, if you know Adrian, he loves civics, a lot of civics. So that might be why he's not at the top of the qualifying list, but he's right there in the middle where it's safe. He makes a lot of noise, a lot of hype around him, but he's a pretty cool guy, pretty consistent, just like his civics. Right behind him.
I'm sorry, Adrian Prasad is the same guy who takes part in Solo Death Racing, yeah?
And Super Street. He's pretty famous. Okay. Yeah. Same Adrian.
Great.
His car goes like that, like all civics do. I'm not saying I don't like civics, guys, but I'm just saying buy Integra instead.
Yeah. So Adrian Prasad, glad to see that he's involved. I'm happy to see other members of the motorsport fraternity getting on board and getting involved in this activity.
We also have our Lord Sylvan Singh, posted a 136.872, which is a respectable time, keeps him safe out in elimination zone. And we have a small spin there by Kidding as he's pushing limits of that car. We see a small tussle with Adrian Prasad moving up to the 3rd spot in qualifying, meaning that he has dropped below that 136.3 time. So he should be somewhere around 136.2, 136.3 very low. So again, we have 4 more minutes for these drivers to set their fastest time, as the importance of this is paramount as they'd be deciding which group they'd be end up in pertaining to the qualifying or the semi-final rounds. You don't want to end up in a group with too many fast guys.
I have a feeling that Forbes is trying to go on a fast run again. I'm going to have a look in and see if he's definitely going to try to do the 134s this time.
See sector by sector. Oh no, it's a bad start.
Just to remind you as well, ladies and gentlemen, those of you on the live feed at the moment, we welcome you. Thank you very much for being here with us. Please stay tuned as well. At the end of the live feed, we will put up the results, and Luke will take you through the standings at that time. He will share with you the information as it relates to the way they finished in the qualifying. Yeah, so that's something to look forward to as well. And right after that, we will have the interview with Brandon Driftbat Steele. 7:27, just about 3 more minutes to go in this qualifying session. Just about 3 more minutes to go in this qualifying session. We want to thank, of course, our sponsors for this evening's session, and of course for the championship series, Motul Lubricants. Of course, we thank Motul for getting on board and becoming the lead sponsor for this event. Garage Fresh, we thank the guys at Garage Fresh for getting involved. That's Narvin and Small Flex, or Microflex, or well, you don't know who I'm talking about. And of course, one of the biggest men in motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago, by the way, Microflex.
Devinat?
Yeah, and then of course we have Renter Studio, who is one of our most recent sponsors. We want to thank them very much for getting involved and getting on board with regard to providing some prizes for the drivers involved in the championship series today. And of course we have TriniTuner.com, being involved in motorsport and auto culture for the last 20 odd years, if I'm not mistaken. Dwayne might be able to correct me there, but I believe they started in 2000 and have been constantly providing coverage of the motorsport and auto culture in Trinidad and Tobago.
OG in motorsports.
Yeah. 2 more minutes to go. 2 more minutes to go.
And let's not forget Trap Speed Simulators.
I am so sorry, Mark. Mark, I am so sorry. Trap Speed Simulators, of course, without Trap Speed Simulators, this would not be possible. Mark Buxton putting together all of the technical issues in the background and making sure that we have this live feed that we can provide for you in terms of the activity. Mark, without you, this would not be possible. Thank you very, very much for your support.
Very true. Very true. So if you're looking to get a rig built, so like a steering wheel, pedal setup, and a whole custom rig to have at home, look no further than Mark Pogson at TSS Simulators. building some of the best quality rigs that we have in Trinidad and Tobago. So if you to up your game ante and get a bit of a more real life feel, hit up TSS simulators and just drop a like on that Facebook page and show the love to all our sponsors.
All locally designed and built.
That's something to look forward to, Mark. I will definitely talk to you about that before the season is out. But just to let you know now, Raptor is the second person in this qualifying who is now in the 135s. He's 135.9. So we have 2 people in this session who are in the 135s. That will change the order for the standings for the racing activity next week. So that's true. A very, very interesting that Raptor was able to come up with that time. Raptor is who again? I just have his name here. Raptor is the... No, that's all right. I have it. Raptor is Ravin Duki. So that's Ravin Duki coming in with a 135.915. Great to see another 135 in this session.
3, 2, 1, and that will be end of qualifying. Guys who are still out on the flying lap will be given an additional 1 minute and 50 seconds to complete the lap before the end of qualifying. So if they are pushing on this lap, that's basically a little buffer or a little fluff to basically have them the comfort of finishing that lap. So in case they are on the last lap pushing for qualifying time, as we saw Brandon did, he pushed for 134 on his final lap in qualifying session. And it just gives these drivers a little bit of breathing room. But hopefully they don't come into contact with any traffic when you guys serving a penalty. As we see AJ Forbes there coming onto the back of, I believe that's pest control. Hopefully lets him by and just gives him that space to make his lap.
But I know seeing that AJ Forbes in his last lap came up with a 135.311.
See? That's what you're saying.
That's exactly the point that you're making. So he came up with a faster time, a 135.311, bettering his former time, his previous time by just about 7, 8 100ths.
8 100ths, that's correct. I was like, hope he gets this right. Let's hope. Nice one, great, nice one. I'm impressed.
8 100ths. You know, so that's fantastic coming in from him. 8 100ths of a second, he was able to shave off of his time. Just to quickly give you, as we wrap up the last flying laps, we want to give you a quick rundown of what the prizes are for each of the winners of the championship series. In third position overall, a gaming headset for PlayStation, sponsored by Rent a Studio, a Motul hamper, trophy, and a free event passes for 1 year when events return to Waller Field. In second position, a gaming headset for PlayStation, sponsored by Rent a Studio, Motul hamper, trophy, and of course a free event passes for 1 year when events return to Waller Field. And in first position, an FIA approved race equipped helmet, sponsored by Garage Fresh, gaming headset for PlayStation, sponsored by Rent a Studio, Motul hamper, a trophy, and of course free event passes for the return to Waller Field. So that is fantastic prizes that all of these qualifiers are looking towards getting. And of course, we will have that list of finishing times in a moment. It just appears as though nobody else is on a flying lap. So the qualifying is officially over. We will have the finishing order for you in just a few moments on the live feed. And of course, we ask you to stay tuned. Stay tuned for that interview done by Mark Coxon of the Drift Brat himself, Brandon Steele.
Very true. So that's a fast man we have in qualifying right now. And with these new laps coming in, right now we have a small shift around as Daniel Prasad is bumped out of the top 10. Neil is bumped down to 5th place, I believe, out of the qualifiers. But this information will be posted up in between the both sessions of practice. So just after the interview with Brandon, we should have a fresh list posted with the qualifying times updated for you to see online. So if you're watching this on YouTube, again, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that bell icon when you hit the subscribe and share with all your friends, because this is what makes racing great in Trinidad and Tobago. You, the spectators. Without you watching it, we would have no reason to put this show online, and me and Ray would have no reason to be working from home with the lovely hands of the stewards, the marshals, Debbie, Nat, Dwayne, Wudu Singh was the race chair for this event, and all these hands working together to make this display just for you. So help us out. Hit the like, hit the share, show us some love, and show all the sponsors just as much love.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and today we have Drift Brad here, or some as known as Brandon Steele. So Brandon, I have a couple questions for you, as a couple people probably want to know. First question I have for you, at what age were you introduced to motorsport as a whole? Not only sim racing, motorsport, like your first introduction in motorsport. Give us an idea of, how this passion of yours started.
All right, well, it all started in the fetus. So, born and grew into racing. Grandfather was Tom Miller, who was champion circuit racer. He used to race alongside with Frankie Boudram and Silborn Clark. So I was born into it, started racing at the age of 12, started go-karting. My first race I started like 25th, finished 6th amongst the experienced racers. And I also following the footsteps of my mother as well. So I started from 12. I learned about it from in the fetus, so I'm good to go now.
Right. Well, that's a real interesting reply. That's great. So my next question for you is GT Sport more than a game for you? What do you think of GT Sport, or as in a bigger picture, what is sim racing to you? As in the whole picture, is it just a game, or is it a little bit more than just a game for you?
All right, well, sim racing for me is something that helps you in the real life understand certain physics of a vehicle and how it operates. So I wouldn't say I will jump into sim racing, and because I'm a good sim racer, I will be a good circuit racer or rally driver, whatever the case is. But it's basically just for you to use the same knowledge that you have in real life. You can use that in the sim racing, and it also helps you to familiarize with real life tracks as well. But to say that if I'm a good sim racer, and just because I'm good at it, I could probably just go and race a car, I don't think that is possible. But I take it to a certain point of seriousness, because yes,
well, I could see you wearing your race suit right now, so you're definitely very serious about it.
When it's time for the racing, I will be wearing my full race gear. I have to feel it. I have to feel everything.
Well, that pretty much answers or starts to get into the next question, which I had kind of lined up there now. Is I was gonna ask now, how do you feel sim racing really helped you, or has it helped you in any form of racing at all? I mean, I know that a lot of sim racing elements like GT Sport don't feature local tracks and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, do you want to expand a little more? Has it really helped you in sim racing, or has sim racing helped you in real life racing?
All right. I will say yes, it did, because it helps to clarify certain things that you may be afraid to try in real life. So, for example, drifting. When I started drifting, I couldn't do manji and stuff like that. That's when you're going up the straight side to side. And I actually came home and I played Gran Turismo, and I learned about the body roll and which part I put to apply the accelerator and stuff like that. And it actually helped me to go back out and to perform what it is I had to do. Because in real life, you may want to do something, but you're afraid that you damage something with your vehicle, or you might crash or something like that.
There's no reset button in real life.
Exactly. With the sim racing, you have no fear. You just try it, and you could actually see what the car going to do, so you'll have an idea for real life. So I will say yes, it will help you to a certain extent.
So bringing the fact that there's sim racing, as I said, there's no fear. What is your opinion on typical dive bomber. You have anything thoughts about dive bombers in general from sim racing? You know, that's a common thing in sim racing that's not as common in real life. What's your thoughts on typical dive bombers?
Yes, well, we are all guilty of dive bombing in sim racing. Everyone, even myself. I think with this sim racing is because depending on your camera angle that you're using or just the state of mind that you know it's a sim game, you may try to execute moves that aren't really possible. So when it is you're in the sim race itself, you need to think, if this was a real life situation, would I try to make this move? Or would I have tried to make this move? And that is where you will know if it was a move that was too extraordinary or not.
Right, right. So why the name Drift Brat? Where is that coming from?
Well, honestly, I started off as SpongeBob in go-karting. So like all the people who
I
know
don't
me
know.
from go-karting.
I can't figure that one out. I really can't figure that one out.
From go-karting and Solodex, people like Devinat, Gerard Wilson, they will know me as SpongeBob because they
Right.
were around since I was go-karting. And then when I got into the drifting scene now, of course, I had to come up with a new name. Can't go in drifting as SpongeBob.
Right.
So just Drift Brat just came to mind. It can be Drift King because it already have Drift King out there. I wouldn't call his name because you know that will cause a whole big bacchanal. So the next thing, Drift Brat.
Right. So the next question, probably a question that many of us have to want to know, right? So is it a wheel or a controller?
All right, let's just see if it is a make it in the top 3 in the finals. I will expose that.
we'll definitely wait to find out with that one, right? So that being said, now is now going back to the tournament itself now. Who are the competitors or the ones that you have your closest eye on so far? But we have one more of qualifying, but still, so far, who are the ones that you really have your eyes on the most?
All right, well, who I know about so far, I really need to look out for Those Say So. That's Andrew. He and bad guy Calera. Hope I'm pronouncing his PSN right. That is Declan.
I'm sure he'll forgive you.
Yeah, since from the start, they have been pressure to me. Pressure. So those are the two that I will have to look out for. And seeing that they're racing on wheel, you know, they might be a little more at advantage to me.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I feel.
Did you just leak a little bit of information there?
Yeah, that's just so everybody could think about it themselves. I don't need to be outright with it, but.
Oh, was that a trick? How do you see sim racing as a how do you see sim racing going in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean and a whole scene that we in this pandemic, and it has grown a bit right now, and you will see like Barbados has had this huge rally tournament. FIA has given out a lot of instructions to host a lot of events. Gran Turismo has basically put a large budget out. A lot of places, Formula One's most recent events, all their Formula One drivers, or most I should say, actually on sim racing and doing sim racing online. So what do you think is the future for sim racing locally, as in for Trinidad and maybe even a little further out as the Caribbean? What's your thoughts on that?
I think for now, sim racing will pick up. But when it is like the rally stages and the tracks open back up, I believe that it won't keep growing as it would now. So it will reach its peak, and I believe that is where it will stay at unless the organizers and sponsors really invest more time into it. Because you can't just start it and expect it to grow by itself. They have to put in the time, the advertisements, sponsors have to get on board and really show the interest. The prizes to be won, and with the sim racing now, you will spend probably about $15,000 to $20,000 on a full sim rig versus a car where you will be spending over hundreds of thousands of dollars. First of all, you're going to buy an expensive car. With some people, you'll buy Evo, whatever the case is. And then you still
Yes,
have to
I
spend
know
over.
about spending a lot of money on sim rig
Yeah.
equipment. So
And then when you go out on the track,
right behind you here.
yes, exactly. So you have one of the best already, right? So
We
when
don't
it
know.
is,
We don't know. There might
I
be a
believe-
better out there. There might be
I
better out
believe-
there we don't know about.
I believe you have one of the best in the country. I could say that. I could say that for sure. So
We don't know. We don't know about that one.
When you spend your money on a rig, that's like a one-time investment unless one electrical part go wrong. But with a vehicle now, anything could go wrong at any time. So you go out on the track today, after you spend about $10,000 just to go to this race meet, the engine can mash up, a man could bounce it, you could flip, and that's a next set of money to spend again. So if it is you're looking for the cheaper way out and still have fun at the same time, I will go to a sim racer.
Next one, I have a question for you. Do you have any heroes or anybody to really look up to in sim racing? Not necessarily locally, but I mean on the whole global picture. Somebody that you look up to and has basically maybe have helped you get where you are now.
Yeah, there's one person I like to watch in particular, and that's Super GT. To me, he have a dry sense of humor and he real. So if he dive bomb, if he block somebody, he will say that wasn't the move he should have done. He also gave a lot of tips, and he's also one of the respected people in the FIA Gran Turismo championship as well, because he usually gets invited to those stuff. So I more watch his videos than anything else and try to follow his guidelines.
Right. The next question here is, does your family support this sim racing thing, and do they get frustrated at you for staying up late at night or doing a lot of sim racing and playing GT Sport and things like that, or you know?
Well, from my background of racing, my mother also races and she also does drifting. So with the sim racing, she always give me my time. Even since I was younger, I say smaller because I'm short, but since I was younger, she always give me my time. If I want to play my Gran Turismo, that's the only game I used to play. And she never had a problem with it, and she support me 100%. When I was doing the qualifying, I know she was uneasy because it's like a real life thing for her as well. She loved to support her only child in anything that he does. So in sim racing, she has absolutely no problem, and I know she would like to see me come out on the podium at the end of this.
Yes, your mother and many others. Talking about that now, we know we have one commentator has already backed you and basically put his card in that he supports you. That being said, now what do you need to do to convince Ray that you're gonna be the winner at this event? What do you think is the one outstanding thing you're gonna do to convince him?
Probably give him $1,000, but apart from that, I think he just waiting to see consistency.
Right.
So as time goes on during the races, I believe once he could see consistency with amongst the drivers, and once I can be the best at that, I believe he will start to back me eventually.
Right. Okay. Or unless another dark horse appears out on the way in this last qualifier.
Correct, is right.
Who
but
knows?
I believe it have a certain someone coming up again in this last qualifier.
I want to see that. Definitely want to see that. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, Brandon. Mr. Brandon Steele, aka Drift Brat. It was very nice having you on the show, and I wish you the best, and I hope to see you basically reach to the finals.
Yes. So once I reach the finals, I have my sponsors backing me too. I have Drive Style Limited, Amsoil Lubricants, Lexam Diagnostics, Racetrack Wheels. So I'm hoping for the best.
All right, Brandon. Thank you.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for keeping in tune with us as we continue to bring you the qualifying action here on the TTASA Digital Sport or eSport platform, the GT Championship 2020 edition, being brought to you with the kind compliments of Motul Lubricants, Garage Fresh, Renter Studio, FiniTuner.com, and Top Speed Simulators. So we want to thank all of our sponsors for making it possible for us to be here with you this evening and to bring you the 6th qualifier for the evening. Luke will share with us the finishing order of the last heat so that you'll have an idea of exactly who came out on top and who ended up in the back marker position of that heat. And right after that, we will share with you the entrance for the 6th heat this evening. Luke?
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. Okay, so I'll start from the bottom of the qualifying, meaning that the Heat 5 did make some changes to the overall standing of the qualifying for all drivers. So we did have 3 extremely fast drivers in that 135-second category. As you know, the 134 is the fastest time right now, and 135 is still making up the entirety of the top 10. So some drivers were bumped out of the top 10, i.e. Danny Passad in his fast Lancer, but a lot of drivers from this pack pulled out some blisteringly fast times. So leading them off was Alan Forbes, who's AJ Forbes 26. He set a 135.311, and we saw that he still had some in the tank as he went around for one lap, and he basically was a little bit greedy on the lines, and he cut the track, picking up a penalty, and basically disqualifying that lap. So he is now the second fastest guy in qualifying out of all the qualifiers thus far. We still have one more qualifying to go as the drivers, as we speak, are in practice right now, going around the track, getting a feel for the car, and just getting used to their surroundings. Right behind Alan Forbes, you had Anthony Vidal, who's Kid _ Inc. He also had a pretty quick time of 135.859. He's also in the top 10, followed by Ravin Dookie, Raptor 9446, 135.915. Less than 1/10 of a second separating those two drivers. So we have a lot of close racing ahead of us as these drivers are so close in technical and skill of each other. So it's not big margin separating these drivers, it's a 10. So basically it's less than a car length or 2 car lengths on the street separating each driver. Bring up the 4th spot, we have Adrian Passad, who's Adriano 97910 for 136.271. Again, still very fast, very well-known driver with a lot of experience behind him. Behind him, we have David Jacobs, who's Lord Tantos, long-time Batman from since the PSN was a PS2 or something, and he had a 136.773. Following him was Matthew Sylvan Singh, representing out of that Ravi Singh camp and that Ravi Singh dynasty with a big history behind him. Not as fast as we expected, but again, he's still a young driver to the GT Sport category, but with a lot of actual hands-on practical application of his skill in the real world. Hopefully he can bring that back to the track in this GT Sport simulator and make the best in the actual semi-finals. They're not getting bumped too far down after the last heat, which is coming up in the next 10 minutes for the qualifying session. Right behind him, we have John Michael Rajwali, Schoolboy Prime, taking some drivers in the qualifying to school with a nice 137, putting himself in the middle of the overall qualifying section. Right behind him, we have Keston Henry, Pest Control, Pest _ Control 1418 with a 138.5. Again, he's also safe as he's sub 140. Right now, the danger zone is anyone in that 140 up is at risk of being eliminated. 4 drivers will be axed out and will have to take the bus home, even though they're home already, but they'll be out of the competition and won't have a chance to win any of the lovely prizes. Right behind him, we have Jarrell Kashi, the 138.7, close to Keston Henry. And again, he is still safe, but he's not to the front of the pack. He's Black's 868, so he's repping that green flag hard all day, every day. And that's it for the qualifying session of Heat 5 as we move now to take a little look at the practice that's taking place right now as we get to know each and every driver a little bit better.
Thank you very much, Luke. We do have the drivers in practice at the moment on the track, and we do have a very fast time coming out from Gavin that looks like Daniel. Yeah, Gavin Daniel, who is ERS bad guy Cali.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a fast time.
135.1. A 135.1 in practice. ERS bad guy Gavin Daniel is one to watch. And this is the reason that I said that it's too early to, oh my goodness, Daniel just ran
You
off.
spoke too fast, the cursor struck.
Clearly, Daniel ran off there in the practice session. So hopefully he doesn't have that kind of a run in a couple of guys are running off as well. Darth Scott, and that's Craig Scott, is also running off at the moment. This is the practice session, guys. So the guys are really, using the time to get familiar with the track and get familiar with the technical aspects of this particular track, the Brand Hatch track. We will have Mark Puxton who just go through for us right after we advise you of who are the entrants in this this particular heat. Claudia Sandy is Tantan 1023. Craig Scott, which is Darth Scott, 00. Dion Small, or is known as Eastern Dora. Farad Ali, Nestle Chick. Nestle Chick is Farad Ali's name.
Very weird name. Isn't that a guy? Farad Ali?
Nestle Chick, Farad Ali. As far as we know, there are no women entered in the event.
Very unfortunate stuff.
As far as
Very
we know, which is quite unfortunate as far as we are concerned. The FIA encouraging women in motorsport, TTASA trying its best to encourage women in motorsport as well. So it's a little disappointing not to see any women coming to match with the other drivers in this series. Nevertheless, Farad Ali is Nestle Chick, and we have Gavin Daniel, who is the ERS bad guy, coming in with one of the fastest times up to now. And of course, the Lyndon Morris is Lonely Goat 22. Lonely Goat 22. We also have Matthew Phillips, Matthew 79 JR 100, and then Hayden Nanton Farm. So those are the entrants in this qualifying heat. And maybe now might be a good time to tell you about the track which will be used for the first official race on Monday evening. Luke, do you know which track it is?
I don't think they've told us yet. That will not be released until the day before the racing. So all drivers have the same amount of practice allotted to them as they only find out the day before the race what track they'll be racing, how many laps, and what cars are allowed to use.
Okay.
So it's a very fair playing field set for them.
All right. I've just been given some information, Luke. And just for everyone to note, we will share this information again at the end of the qualifying session. But the first track that we will be using for this championship series is none other than Dragon Trail. Dragon Trail Seaside is the track that will be used for the first official race of the championship.
The racers, if you're tuned in now, get on GT Sport and start practicing your lap on Dragon Trail.
Yeah,
the time is now.
That's the officials have made a decision and have decided to release that information earlier than had been anticipated. The intention was to release it on Sunday evening, 24 hours before the actual event, but a decision was taken to go ahead and release that information as a surprise for this evening. So that
I got more information coming in, Ray, that we'll be allowed to use Group 4 cars. So Group 4 cars will be set as the car for the first round of semi-finals.
So that is new information that is coming to us, and Group 4 cars will be used. So that's going to be pretty exciting when it comes to the activity of the first race that you can be looking forward to. And if you're just joining us, we welcome you. We thank you very much for joining us. We also want you to continue to like and share on the live feed. Continue to like and share the live feed. For those of you who want to share the live feed via message or WhatsApp, you can do so. It's the TTASA eSports. TTASA eSports is the channel. So please continue to like and share as we get a different view of this particular track. And right now might be a good time to get Mark Puxton, our technical director, to be able to share some information about both the platform, the Miata platform, as well as the track. Mark Puxton.
Hi, good night again, guys. Yeah, well, just like I said earlier, Brands Hatch is a pretty popular track. Most people should be well acquainted with this track. very tricky. If you get it wrong, you will get it really wrong. It's not a forgiving track. Often in races, in a track like this, making a pass is not normally the best thing to do. It's more kind of track where you have to kind of pressure people from behind and stick your nose in and make people go to the defensive line and wait for that opportunity to open. So Brands Hatch is actually a very technical course when it comes to race tactics. A lot of people don't realize that, and they just write off Brands Hatch as a course that is difficult to overtake. But thing about it is, if you think about how to pressure your opponent or whoever you're trying to pass and stick your nose in and make them and force the error. I mean, I'm not talking about making contact, but just force the error, and that's where you'll find that most of your overtaking opportunities are well done on this track. That being said, I want to say a quick word about Dragon Trail. Dragon Trail is also a track that is well known by all PlayStation owners. It is a fantasy track, so for those who are new to this whole Gran Turismo and unaware about what it is, so Dragon Trail is a fantasy track that is made up by the game developers, which is named Polyphony. It is actually a really good fantasy track. It straight away goes straight into an S-bend, which is really tricky to navigate from its start. So let's hope we can have a nice clean start going into that first corner. And then there's a famous chicane called Death Chicane. That's pretty much where you can either win or lose this race. Not only can you make up a lot of time in that part, but you can literally hit the wall and lose your entire event on that circuit. The Group 4 cars, even though they're a little bit slower, it's still going to be very tricky in there, because once the tires start to wear a little bit more, if you continue to push, you might just make that mistake and throw away your whole race on that death chicane. Ray?
Yeah, thanks very much, Mark. Thanks very much for the technical information. Our technical director, Mark Pogson, the principal of Track Speed Simulators, of course, making it very possible for us to be able to bring you the live feed, as well as sharing his knowledge on the different tracks in the Gran Turismo platform. We did mention that the Miata is the car that is being used, the touring Miata is the car that's being used in the qualifying session, and there's a specific reason for that as we get into the last 2 minutes of the practice session. The Mazda Miata was chosen to commemorate the decision that was taken by the TTASA management to introduce a brand new racing series in Trinidad and Tobago, which is the Mazda Miata Cup. So the Mazda Miata Cup is an introductory circuit racing series that we are now launching, planned to launch earlier this year. Of course, had to be delayed a little, but we will be eventually getting back into circuit racing. And when we do, the Mazda Miata Cup will be underway. So this is really an ode to the Mazda Miata series that is coming up. So please look forward to that at the Frankie Boudram Waterfield International Raceway, the home of motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago. We'd also like to remind you that all motorsport disciplines take place at the Frankie Boudram Waterfield International Raceway, save and except for high-speed stages rallies, which take place around the country at different locations, different off-road locations. So if you're interested in getting involved in motorsport, please reach out to one of the members of the management of TTASA to get involved in the motorsport discipline that interests you the most. And please, they will discuss with you becoming a member and getting some of those membership benefits. The one we wanted to highlight in this series is the free passes to all events at Waterfield when racing starts back. Qualifying is starting now, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying is starting now, and Luke will take us through the paces.
Yes, qualifying starting now. We did see ERS bad guy, who is Garvin Daniel, set up blistering the fast time. Just tell you a little bit more about him. He's 38 years of age. He has no motorsport racing experience, but he has been playing GT Sport since 2017. He is clearly showing himself to be one of the dark horses in this race and gonna show us what he can do, as he's an A+ tier driver, as you know, in Gran Turismo Sport. As some of you may not know, there are classes for each drivers, and after spending enough time in many FIA races and online competitions, you do up your rank. So that just goes to show that his experience is putting the times on the table, putting him, hopefully, if he can recreate that lap, into the second position, just within contention of Brandon Steele's time. So again, we look forward to see what he can do. And also, if you're looking to get like some sick gear and some motor racing memorabilia, check out Garage Fresh, because they have like some super cool jerseys. And if Garage Fresh and Microflex want to send a little jersey for me to rep next week, just saying, Ray and I always looking for a little bit of free clothes. Yeah. Also, more important information, the qualifying will take place over 15 minutes, as these 9 drivers have 15 minutes to set their fastest time. They will have to come back in with fresh tires every 3 or 4 laps based on their decision, and they can take their time and go out when they're ready. They don't have to spend the whole 15 minutes outside on the track, but they will choose their best time and the best winner they have to basically set that perfect lap in the perfect conditions. Some drivers may choose to draft if they saw what happened in practice, ERS bad guy, or one of the faster drivers, to bring their times down. But this final group will decide who makes it to the 48 driver entrance for the competition. So again, only 40 will be chosen, 4 will be eliminated tonight and be sent all the way to their bed, to the comfort of their bed, to watch the races from YouTube with no chance to win any cool gear. Headsets sponsored by Red Studio, a race group helmet sponsored by Garage Fresh, and many other amazing prizes.
Gavin Daniel is ERS bad guy, and
That's
Gavin,
correct.
yeah, Gavin Daniel is the person that Brandon Steele was talking about in his interview.
Oh,
Brandon
really?
said yes. During the course of the interview, so I had the opportunity to listen to the interview, and I'm hoping that those of you that had a chance to listen to Brandon speaking with Mark Pogson, Mark asking some very interesting questions as it relates to how Brandon got involved in the sport and so on. And one of the questions he asked him was, who does he think that he should be looking out for in the championship? And he did mention Gavin Daniel. He mentioned Gavin Daniel as being one of those people who could very well be a serious challenge for him. He mentioned some other names as well, but the only person who he mentioned that is in this qualifying session is Gavin Daniel. So it's going to be interesting, based on what Luke would have just shared, to see what Gavin comes up with in terms of an overall qualifying time, because he appears to be one of the faster competitors in the sport. So that's something to look out for and to pay attention to. The action continues on Monday, as Luke would have mentioned. Monday, the 1st of June. So that's the first event that you'll be looking at, the first race. One of the drivers just went straight off the track there, boy.
That's Nestle Chick.
That's Nestle Chick. Yeah, Nestle Chick. Nestle Chick is having a little challenge there. I need to ask the technical director something. Mark Pogson, just help us understand something here. Drivers keep popping up their lights. I'm not entirely certain.
Well,
why.
I mean, I'm not too entirely sure myself. That's something that's happened over the years in sim racing. Generally, how it started was that if you were behind somebody and you wanted to ask them to pass, or you were or wanted to voice your discomfort for something that happened or something like that, you would flash your lights at them. But it's become something that people do so often now that it almost, you almost do it because you're trying to throw somebody off. So most of the sim racing community, as you move up the tiers and ranks, get to a point now where they completely ignore it now. So it doesn't mean much to most people anymore. Why some people still do it, I'm not sure. I think it's become just a habit.
Mark, I still do it. I realize it still does not work. I'm in the fast lane doing 100, obeying the speed limits, and there is a woman doing 60 in the fast lane. Blink, blink, nothing happens. She does not know the rules.
Well, just like I said, Luke, I mean, when you get to the top tier, like myself
She's
above
in the
you,
top tier.
I wouldn't notice you in my rearview mirror.
Well played, Mark. Disrespectful, but well played.
Just wondering, I'm sure that some of you who are taking in the live feed might have been wondering, particularly Nestle Chick, who keeps flashing his lights for some reason. So I'm sure that some of you would have been wondering, hence the reason that we would have asked, why is it that some drivers keep flashing their lights, you know? But this is all in the fun of the racing and the fun of the activity that is taking place here. This stay-at-home racing series, just to remind you or to advise you, of course, and one of the drivers just picked up a penalty.
That's Matthew Phillips.
That's Matthew Phillips, yeah. Is that and maybe it might be useful to figure out if this Matthew Phillips is the son of Junior Phillips. I'm not entirely certain, but it may very well be, because he has a son named Matthew. Junior Phillips, another preeminent racer in Trinidad and Tobago, involved in motor racing, drag racing, karting, and boating. So it could very well be Matthew, his son. But back to the action, the issue of the racing at home or staying at home to race under these circumstances is one that is being promoted. Yeah, sorry, I might be, yeah?
You might be correct. He's 17 years of age, and he does have experience in Trinidad and Tobago Kart Association.
Yes.
So I believe it's the same son of Matthew.
Yes, of Junior Phillips. Good.
Correct.
So like I was saying, the stay-at-home initiative is one of those initiatives that has been promoted by TTASA, not TTASA only, but with the sanction of the FIA. The FIA, through the ASNs around the world, have been encouraging sim racing as an alternative to motor racing to be able to continue to encourage racing activity from the comfort of your home in the safe environments of your homes. And we, all of us who are involved in this production, are at our homes as well. Luke and I are not in the same studio, but we look like we're in the same studio, right, Luke? And we can thank Mark Pugson for putting that together for us, our technical director, working in the background to make sure that this live feed looks as realistic as possible to those of you on our live feed. And don't forget, please like and share the live feed with your friends, the family, and your associates, all of whom might be interested in motorsport and might be interested in seeing what is happening in the development of sim racing in Trinidad and Tobago. Another question that Luke asked, that Mark asked, just as we get into the last 7 minutes of this qualifying session, was what was the history, not the expected history, but the expectation of sim racing going forward. He asked Brandon, what he expected to see, whether or not he expected to see it develop as a platform, and whether or not that is something that he can see happening in the future. And Brandon correctly said he expects that it will grow right now because we don't have anything else to replace racing activity right now. But he's expecting to see it taper off when racing returns to the track and returns to the off-road tracks that we have racing in Trinidad and Tobago. So what we are hoping is that while that we know that there will be some tapering off, we are hoping that we will be able to get some conversions. People who have gotten the racing bug or gotten excited about getting involved in motorsport and want to convert from sim racing to actual racing. And to that end, we encourage them to get in touch with the management of TTASA, become a member, and take advantage of the benefits of being a member of TTASA, one of which is the ability to be able to use the track for free for practice on days that don't have activities at that track. So that's something to look forward to as well, in terms of a highlight, in terms of a benefit that you have as a racer, as a member, taking advantage of the use of the home of motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago, the Frankie Goodram Qualifier International Raceway. Luke.
That is very true. That is very true. Because when I was a member and my bike was working, I used to abuse that every Saturday or Sunday. Hey, is the track available? Yes. I'm there. I'm done. I can't afford to put gas in the bike, but I'm there on the track. And it was wonderful being that even outside of those peak times when the track isn't available, there are so many weekdays that you may have a day off or holiday garden and the track isn't being used. You could spend the whole day at the track and just have a great time with you, your friends, and your family, and you have the safety of an ambulance. You can also get fire service if your party is too large, but again, you feel safe and it's a controlled environment, so if something does go wrong, we always had the bikes there and the vans ready to pick up in case a bike wasn't working or through a valve or piston rings or it was a lot of things, but it was always felt safe, and yeah, no one died, so good stuff.
As we're talking about benefits of being a member of TTASA, one of the other benefits, apart from the free track use, is the discounts at entry at events. We also have free event passes for you and you as the member and one other person.
This
and
includes
that is
tracks, drift, circuit,
events.
everything.
All events is what you will be allowed the opportunity to be able to participate in. A fantastic event. Once you've made that investment, you can recoup the investment just from being able to enter events at no cost. And of course, you will get worldwide recognition of your achievements and eligibility for FIA awards. So those are the benefits of being involved in TTASA, and we encourage you to get into the membership of TTASA. The management is led by our president, Mr. Faisal Madan. Our honorary secretary is Navin Sidat. Our vice president is Ashton Elegon. And our competition chair is Mr. Debbie Knapp, one of the officials of this particular series, as well as the principal at Renter Studio. We also have our members rep, Mr. Ryan Piru, our members rep, Mr. Ronnie Ramdeo, and of course our honorary treasurer, Mr. Roger Hutchia.
Also, I'd like to take some time to pick up all the cameramen who usually come onto all the field and take amazing photos that make the drivers really have something to carry home after an amazing race. So Zeus Edwards, Downs Digital Photography, Fred Wilson, just to name a few. Also one-man outfit from Robert Edge. And I'm sorry if I leave out your photography studios, not because I don't love you, it's because I forget things sometimes.
Right. Yeah. There are quite a few guys who come to the Olympic track and cover the events, and we're very happy to. And I learned from Gerald Wilson actually that there's a difference between shooting an event and covering an event. So that's something that there is a difference between shooting an event and covering an event. Nestle Chick came up with a 136.924. Nestle Chick coming up with a 136.924, which suggests that is the fastest time at the moment.
Where is ERS bad guy?
Yeah, exactly. Where is ERS bad guy? That's the question in mind at the moment.
ERS
Estadora is 137.391. Sorry, Mark?
ERS bad guy has seemed to have some network issues and seems to have been left the race. In other words, those are.
Did he post the time?
Those are technical issues that I haven't seen a time that posted in the official qualifying laps. But he did do times in the warm-up, so I don't know what's gonna happen there. I'm not even gonna make a suggestion or think or even get involved in that one. But that's gonna have to be.
The officials will make a call there. Yeah. The officials will have to make a call where that is concerned.
Correct.
Sorry to hear that though. That's a little bit of rough luck there for him, given that he is one of the threats that other drivers are expecting to be very prevalent in terms of the activity insofar as the racing is concerned, but it's heating up. The action is heating up, ladies and gentlemen.
So one more comment to all our competitors here is racing that is watching. I'm gonna make a couple suggestions. If you haven't already done it, I'm just gonna say it again. It's always best to have your PlayStation hardwired onto the network cable rather than using Wi-Fi. That's for the best signal. And on top of that, now we have MTU settings suggested using 1119 as your MTU setting. Those have been found to be the most reliable setting for us to use. Other than that, everything else is out of my hand.
Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it immensely. As we get ready to wrap up this session, at the end of the session, we ask you to stay tuned. We will continue the session on the live feed with the results of the session and a little rundown as we wrap up, coming from Luke. So Luke will give you that rundown once we get the results posted, and we will be able to get the information about the drivers who would have participated just a small idea of exactly where they fall now in the running order. Today is our last qualifying session. Today is our last qualifying session. We would have had 54 entrants. Out of the 54 entrants, 4 will be eliminated. 4 will be eliminated as we get ready to wrap up this qualifying session. So we want to thank all of the drivers who would have entered, and we wish the 4 that are going to be eliminated all the best in their future sim racing careers. We hope that they will continue sim racing as they continue to improve their times, and of course their skill set in terms of sim racing, and keeping in touch with TTASA to determine when is the next sim racing event. Mark Pogson may also be able to shed some light on when that next event might be as well. But don't forget, the first official racing event takes place on Monday evening at 7 p.m. Group A will kick off at 7 p.m. on Monday evening, and the Group B will be at 8 p.m. on Monday evening as well, Monday the 1st. So look out for that. Dragon Trail is the track. Group 4 is the category. Mark, can you tell us anything about upcoming events after this, or that it's a little premature to see what that might be right now?
Well, I can promise you that I am working on a next event coming up very soon.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Looking for a job, Mark. Looking for a job.
So stay tuned. Stay tuned
Exactly.
to Trini Tuner,
Stay tuned, yeah.
Trap Speed Simulators, and I promise you, very soon we will have another event coming up. And I will tell you, and I can tell you this much: I want to brand and stretch across not only the GT Sport. For all the other forms of sim racing, I would like to cover the entire region. So the iRacing guys, the Assetto Corsa guys, I want to cover you all. I want to get it everywhere. If it's anything, what Brandon is saying about sim racing tapering off, that is something that I hope to prove him wrong.
Yeah, very good. Glad to hear it, Mark. Thanks very much. And we're going to keep in touch with Mark Pogson to see if we can get that information out to you before this championship series is over. Those 4 drivers who will be eliminated will have another opportunity to show their worth in that series, that event that is coming up. And we will also want to continue to promote sim racing in Trinidad and Tobago. But that brings an end to the qualifying session. This qualifying session, second session, heat number 6, final session for the qualifiers. We want to thank you so far for being with us. But we ask you to stay tuned for the results of this one and the rundown of the results so that we can give you that information before we sign off this evening. Luke, I think
based on my notes thus far, Ray, I believe that in this group we have a couple people who already has some pretty slow times. That'd be Kenji Abstract, Doc Scott, they put a 1:46. So those are the 2 slowest times currently. And based on the decision of the race director as well as the race control, what's going to happen with ERS Bad Guy, as he was very fast and is a notable name, expected to be very high placing this competition. If he'll get to actually have a couple laps to qualify, or if it's anything from his practice, could be considered going towards the competition. But right now would be him automatically eliminated based on the times being that he failed to qualify, as well as Doc Scott, Kenji Abstract, and one more person would be, I left out 1 second, that would be Marlon Ribeiro, who set a 1:43. So right now, if you're in that 1:43 to 1:46 second category, you are at risk. So we have a good idea of who may be put out of this competition pretty early.
Yeah, it's pretty much pretty easy to figure out, but we will await on the official results just to be able to be guided by the officials. You're right, though, there are a couple of drivers who came in with some slower times, and everybody is not necessarily at the same skill level, obviously. So, but it's good to see as many entrants as we would have had, 54 in all. That's fantastic for a series, a first-time series, a first-time sim racing series in Trinidad and Tobago. We want to applaud all of the drivers who would have gotten involved and made the effort to get involved in this championship series. Everybody can't win, but obviously we do appreciate everyone's effort in terms of getting involved in this championship series. Once again, we also want to say a special thank you to the Ministry of Sport and the representative who takes interest in motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Delicia Blizzard, who is paying close attention to what is happening, and by extension, relaying the information to the Minister of Sport as to what we are doing where motorsport is concerned in Trinidad and Tobago. So we want to thank Ms. Blizzard for her continued support of motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago, and we look forward to the ministry's support when we do begin racing again at Waller Field. Luke? I'm sure that you have a lot of information for us on the qualifiers, this qualifying session, and we will be getting that qualifying result in a few minutes that we will put up on the screen for the live feed. For those of you who are still with us, will be able to get an idea of what has happened.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So we'll take a time out now as we get those times confirmed and we get word from Race Control what will be taking place for the fail to qualify very fast man ARS bad guy, if he will have a second opportunity to do a couple laps and get his time down. So we'll get back to you very shortly as we leave you now and catch you back in a couple of minutes for more information. Okay, welcome back, guys. Sorry about the long wait. But after a big decision made by race control, after deliberating with the drivers and having a unanimous decision come around from all of them, after ERS Bad Guy, who showed really good pace in practice, he's gonna get a chance to have 6 laps or 6 minutes to set his fastest time. In that he'll be out there by himself. He has no draft to benefit from. So the drivers have given him the liberty to actually get one more chance to get into competition. So we're going to be jumping on board with ERS Bad Guy and see if he doesn't crack under the pressure. So we're going to jump to the pits as we're about to prepare for this massive change that's going to be underway. I got word from ERS Bad Guy before this actual qualifying session that he's not really looking to set the fastest time, but simply set a top 4 time at least, to actually get himself to the front of one of the 4 groups. As Brandon mentioned before the interview, ERS Bad Guy is one of the closest guys to him that he has most fair for in competition.
And he's on the track, which is a good news, and he's on the track now.
Do any started it?
Ooh, I believe he's having connection issues, as I've seen that car lagging back and forth. So we're going to see with this connection if he'll still be able to set a pretty fast lap. So he has 6 minutes starting from the moment he left the pit. Okay. Yeah, my bad. I believe that was just a test to make sure everything was good. So now the qualifier is actually going to begin. He's now being seen exiting the pit. He'll have an out lap and a rate of 5 minutes and 45 seconds to set the fastest time he can. He has no one to benefit from draft, and he has a nice clean open track. All drivers agreed to this, meaning that they found it a bit unfair for him to enter the competition just based on a small glitch in connection. So we're on board right now with him inside the car, and again he's being plagued by some internet connection issues. I'm not sure who he's working with, but he should change provider. Not calling names, but doesn't look too good right now.
Yeah, his internet connection definitely seems to be a big issue. I'm not sure he's gonna have, even if he does get his qualifying time in, he's gonna have to try and get something sorted for the next event, because I'm pretty sure the guys are not gonna be willing to give him a second chance in something like this. But yeah, this internet connection seems very sketchy.
With internet connection and spikes in your internet, what happens is sometimes the car lags and the car would either jump forward or jump left or right. So in a race setting, this would mean chaos on a race start or first corner. So a guy may see the car in one location, and in a half a second time the car would just jump to the next position, causing chaos and accidents throughout the track. So he's now on the way for the start of his first flying lap. So all he's aiming for is anything in the sub 140 category to get into this race and secure his position within these 48 drivers who have qualified thus far.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell. The thing about it is, he'll be playing a game locally home by himself, and his gameplay will not look anything like what we're seeing here. It'll look like a normal clean lap that he's putting down. So what you're seeing here is literally one of the unfortunate issues we have when we have a bad internet connection. And one of the things we have to deal with because of not having an actual PlayStation server dedicated to this local island of Trinidad and Tobago. If Sony was able to dedicate a server for Trinidad and Tobago, it might be able to eliminate such problems as this.
We won't have to be looking like we're all US citizens. We can actually pick our region correctly.
Yes, that'd be great.
So what you are seeing is the same thing other drivers will be seeing. And with a Group 4 car, the time for reactions is minimal. So you have like barely any time to react to any sudden change or any brake marker change from driver to driver. So
right.
From the back point of view, if you're following this guy, it's going to be very tricky to call a brake check on him.
Yeah.
See where you can dive on the inside.
Yeah, it's gonna be really difficult to deal with a car like that, because sometimes you might hit an object that you think is his car and he's not even there. He is somewhere else, and then all of a sudden he pops across the next side of the screen. I mean,
wow.
He's already done a 135 too. on his first flying lap. That's an amazing lap. I mean, come on. This guy said he's not even going to try and push it. He's already qualified. And I don't know what to say. Luke.
Mark, so I'm not sure if these drivers are going to start regretting their decision, because in his first flying lap, he's at a 1:35.2, putting within the top 3 drivers, just about 3/10 behind Brandon. So he still has 2 laps remaining, and he's still pushing for another flying lap. And again, the internet is going crazy for this driver. So as you see right there, it's a very risky topic, because at home on his PS4, he's seeing everything looking smooth sailing, nice and lovely. And for other drivers, they may be faced with chaos. So it's very important for this paramount that he gets his connection issue sorted out. He needs to get a local connection, because Wi-Fi is not the best for racing.
No.
It's like racing with a handicap. So like, imagine you have 2 legs, but you're gonna drive a car with regular pedals.
Wi-Fi can be an issue because you get what's called packet losses. And once there's a packet loss, it's almost like losing a piece of data or losing a piece of information, or where the network is supposed to place the car in that specific moment. So and then it skips a couple, and then all of a sudden it's somewhere else, and it tries to do a lot of what's called interpolation, and quite often, as we're seeing here tonight, it'll get it pretty wrong.
So he's now going for his final lap. He has a minute to go, and that would mean that this is his last lap. He has set up before for the corner. He took some time, just got back comfortable, and found the fastest line around that last corner. But again, by our looks of things, it looks like he was in a curve just now. And usually that's not the fastest way from the corner.
No. Oh boy.
Again, it is chaos is taking place as ERS bad guy.
This
We're not
is
sure.
crazy.
We're really sure. It is at utter chaos going on for him right now. But he does have a lovely Watkins Glen team on that Mazda in a rendition of the 787. So I'm guessing that he's giving up on this lap.
I am not even sure. he might even be on the end of the track.
As far as and we just saw he was in a faster sector time. He just improved his time. But we are not sure what is taking place, as we just saw a drop in the other sector.
I believe he has some teleport button on his PlayStation.
Clearly, he may be hacking. We're not calling names, but he may be a hacker based on what we're seeing thus far.
Yes, he's putting out some very, very hilarious moves there.
Get a new ISP provider, i.e. Flow or Green Dot, to sponsor ERS Bad Guy, because we know he has the speed and the talent to go fast, but his internet connection does not do him justice.
If anybody has any connection and can help him out, he will definitely need to get this sorted before the next event.
133, 134, 135.2. Again, still, he's doing consistent 135.2, so he is a fast driver.
Yes.
But his fastest time was set on that first flying lap. So amazing stuff by ERS Bad Guy. And a lot of drivers may be kicking themselves in the leg as they chose the votes to allow him to get one more chance to go out on track and set that blisteringly fast time. So he's now one of the top 4 drivers, and we will see the overall list for the qualifying and the drivers who have been eliminated.
Once again, guys. Thanks very much, guys.
You're glitching. Even on the live stream, it was glitching.